Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Cottrell Bengal Group call. Today, we're gonna be talking REO information that you guys need to know about. We're looking to have this. Can you guys hear me? Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Okay, perfect. So, I talked to Darren, and we thought it'd be a good idea to at least once a month have a call where the agents in our group can be on the call, and we can try to get the asset manager, the team at ADR, Tanya, Neil, and or Darren to be on the call with us each month to discuss things that are important to them in the REO space. So looks like we have some pretty good attendance today. So I reached out to people. I know Larry is reaching out to people. Um, I see Larry's on the call today, so I'm gonna tap into him in just a couple of minutes. But I am still letting people into the room. So this is also our Control Bengal call. So I'll just open it up to anybody that has any wins or anything that you guys want to let us know about that's happening in your space, in your part of the country right now. So I'll just open it up until we get everybody onto this call, which will be about another 2 minutes.
I'm not shy. Haven't gotten a whole lot in the past from ADR, but here in the last, I guess, month and a half or two, I have one that's closing Friday. I have three new ones that have just been trashed out and have just been put on the market. So I've gotten four in the last couple of months, and with a big one, $200,000 one closing Friday.
That's fantastic.
Eric,
Same
I've
here.
got,
Fantastic.
go ahead.
Same here. I wasn't receiving anything, and then all of a sudden, I got two that are in the marketing stage, and just picked up two new ones this week, which we're going to start the repairs and the trash out as soon as I get those estimates going.
Yeah, it's great, Ed. I know it's been a little slow in that area, but we are starting to see some areas picking up. Has anybody seen general REO picking up nationwide, or just curious about that?
Yes, I got
Yeah.
6 new ones last week, a fourplex and then 5 regular REOs. Haven't gotten anything this week. I've got 3 evictions scheduled in the next couple of weeks on some ones that have been out there for a while that I'm glad that are going to finally get vacant so we can move on the property. But yes, I have seen an uptick in our area, and I'm in Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, okay, cool. Let me just communicate with Darren real quick, because there was some confusion about Google Meet versus uh, Zoom. So,
I'll take that one on the chin. That one was me. I was trying to make sure everybody knew about it, and I had a different link on my calendar there. So I apologize about that, guys.
okay, cool. So, well, cool. Any other wins for anybody? And we mentioned we're gonna be taking attendance. I see everybody on the call. I'm taking screenshots and just I will keep track of who comes on the calls each month. A few agents said that they couldn't be, and we totally are understanding about that. We just want to basically be able to communicate with you guys. And you are, if you're on this call, you're either in the Control Bengal group or you are preferred in our group, and we take this pretty serious when agents are given that preferred status. Serious to the point where we expect a lot of the agents, but in return we're going to be also giving you a lot. There's opportunities that are going to be coming available throughout the course of the year, and we're hoping more and more will be coming available. Darren's been working with several high-end clients to get their business. That's always the goal, right? We want more business. Well, we don't have more business if we don't have more clients. And if those clients don't have inventory to get us. And then after we get that inventory and we get that into the hands of the agents have to really knock it out of the park. And they have to do this. And unfortunately, it's one of those situations where you can't ever have, you can't ever be wrong. You always have to be knocking it out of the park. You can't ever have a bad day when it comes to working with these clients.
Hey, Eric, Darren, can I jump in real quick? So I got like 2 seconds, and I'm actually in a
Yeah. Go
meeting
ahead.
right now
Go ahead, Darren.
at
Yeah,
a
I'm
client
glad.
office. I want to make a jumped on. Hey, I appreciate everybody jumping on, and really the whole purpose of this is, and I appreciate Larry and Eric, of course, you pulling this together. It's just really crucial for us on this list of agents that we have that we are stellar and just really go over and above. And I would say 99% of the time that's the case, which is fantastic. So just continue to look to do what you can to help us out. And we've had a couple of hiccups in the last little bit that's caused some pushback from some of our clients, and unfortunately there were people on this list. So that doesn't make any sense to me, right? If you're on the list, you got to know what you're doing, and you got to do a great job. So, and I think 99% of the time that's happening. So, but with that, I apologize. We are hoping to have going forward these meetings, Neil, Don, who's now the director of operations, Tanya Willis, who's our COO. They're going to be joining. Unfortunately, Tricon called a meeting at the exact same time. So that's a priority. So that they're there. I'm actually at a client meeting myself right now. I just wanted to make sure I jumped on and said hi to everybody and give you a little context of what this is about. And honestly, we're going to use it to build out some training and some different pieces. So use it as something constructive, I guess, Eric, if something, the suggestions on the Bid on Homes platform, that there's some questions or anything like that we could do to be helpful for everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna just have to let you know, Darren, we're gonna need a bigger Zoom subscription because we're approaching 100 agents on the call.
Yeah, okay. Well,
So
I got to bounce, guys. I
I'll let
appreciate
you know
it.
about that. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. So
Thanks, guys.
and just so you guys know, that's kind of the nature of what we deal with, and that's what I deal with all the time. Is Darren having these meetings, and the meetings are super important, and we go to great lengths to get our clients to work with us. I mean, extreme lengths. And Darren's right, 99% of the time things go perfectly, but it's that 1% that really can kill us in the long run. So we have to be 100% across the board. And so with that being said, it's just a matter. And here's the thing. A lot of what I'm going to say today is going to be like preaching to the choir. We know it, we work it, we live it. This is what we do. So I'm not really getting on anybody on this call. Would never ever call anybody out, especially in public. But I just want to, bring up some points of things that have happened over the last couple months. The reason why we want to have the monthly preferred agent call. More for the purpose of communicating with everybody. We're going to be at 5-star in a couple weeks, in about a month or so. We're going to see a lot of people at 5-star. We're going to be, talking and communicating and maybe having cocktails and getting to know each other a little bit better. And that's the fun part of what we do. The not fun part of what we do is communicating with asset managers, communicating with clients, communicating with buyer agents that have no clue as to what an REO transaction looks like, and we're having to educate them to get the deal over the finish line. So these meetings are really going to be helpful for us. Number one, to pull everybody together, to know who's serious about about what you're doing in the REO space, and number two, to give our staff and team at American Destiny the opportunity to just point out some things that it might have gone sideways in the last month. And there's a lot of times these things are they're simple. It's like, just how an agent communicates to the asset manager or what they say to them can make a huge difference. An agent could, just say something to the point where, well, I'm not really sure. That's kind of like a bad thing to say. You always want to be sure. You want to, if you're not sure, that's okay. Just become sure before you communicate with the asset manager, or become sure of what you're not sure about, so that the asset manager has an absolute clarity as to what's happening with the asset and where it's going. So again, these are going to be productive calls for us. We're going to do it once a month. It'll be the last Tuesday of the month leading up to December, and then we're going to switch to the first Tuesday of the month from that point forward. And a lot of that was due to my schedule, but also with the holidays coming up, we don't want to be putting things towards the end of the month. Thanksgiving might be a little bit of an issue, but we'll work around that and see what we need to do there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Larry for a couple minutes, because Larry and I, we communicate with anytime an issue happens, anytime I get a call or an email from Tanya, which isn't a good thing. I communicate that immediately with Larry. So Larry has taken on sort of the quasi role of mentor or REO director for our preferred group. And the reason why is because he has the experience and pretty much knows every one of you. I don't know everybody on this call. I probably know 90% of you, but Larry knows 100% of the people on this call. And it's really important for us as we work as a preferred group. And when I say preferred, I'm not saying this lightly. I'm saying this with intensity. This is a good group to be in. I mean, you're preferred with essentially all of Air American Destiny, and then Larry's working with MCM, Templeview, PEMCO, and a few other groups to have you preferred as well. So with that being said, we want, again, 100%, mistake-free communication, great communication across the board with whoever you're working with, whether it's the buyer agent, the asset manager, myself, or Larry. When you have an issue come up, and sorry, Larry, I keep talking. When you have an issue come up and you feel like this is something that needs to get communicated to the team, I highly encourage you to do that. Do it through me. Send me an email. Say, hey, Eric, this is the issue. This is the situation. And try to make it to the point where you're giving me a problem solution. So you send me, but also realize that if you send it to me, I'm going to be sending it to Darren. So if it's just something that you want me to know about, say in the email, hey, Eric, this is just something I wanted to let you know about. It doesn't need to be communicated any further. If it needs to be communicated further, I will send it to Darren. And Darren's really great about this because he takes all of our comments, all of our suggestions, all of our issues, and works with the team and tries to work through these so that it's a one-off issue. It doesn't become an issue that's repeating over and over again. So that's what you can do if you do see something that comes up problem oriented. You see something, maybe, and we've been talking about this for months. The valuations. You're coming in with your valuations. The clients pick their own valuations. This isn't going to go away. It's something that's universal. It happens with traditional agents as well. We just have to learn to communicate that through. And there's ways that we can do that. And Larry has brought this up in the past, where we can communicate this to the asset manager to let them know how to push forward to get that valuation and how to push through the veneer that the client has set up in front of them, where they're kind of dug in as to what the valuation should be. So, market updates, house condition, neighborhood updates. I mean, you might be in a market that might be uptrending, but a neighborhood that's downtrending due to maybe construction or a factory that's going in, or a road that's torn up, or who knows the issue. But the more we can communicate to the asset manager about what's going on, the better. Okay, so I promise I'm turning this over to Larry now. Larry, why don't you just go ahead and say a few things?
All right. How's it going? Good morning, guys. And as Eric already talked about, right? Like, this is more so that we can learn from others, right? Because Eric and I hear about, not just from our group, but agents across ADR, right? From Neil, from Tanya, etc. We are in such a unique position with these 8 different asset management companies. And I've told most of you this. Our relationships will open the door and our performance will keep us in it, right? If we drop the ball, if we don't follow through with something, like, there's some clients that we just don't have a leg to stand on at this point in time. So, like, some of the things that we've seen, and again, this is the exception and not the rule, but I don't want I never want to receive a call from Tanya, from Darren, from Kim, from Eric that's like, hey, what's going on with this? Because it's generally not a good situation. These, and along with our weekly calls with ADR, are the places that we can learn, where we can express our concerns, where we can ask our questions. If we don't use these resources, they're worthless at the end of the day. So some of the things that have came up here that we've noticed, right? And let's just go, like, the first one is communication with the asset manager. 99% of times, like, we can't control everything, right? Whether somebody's not turning in the earnest money deposit, you're waiting on a vendor to get you a bid, you're doing this, you can't, like, there's some things that are beyond our control because we don't control those other people. What we do control is our communication. Hey, Sergio, I just wanted to give you a heads up that we've been waiting 2 days on this vendor to get me a bid. I took it on to go request a bid from somebody else so that we can get this filled. Those are situations that we can control, is the communication side of things and how we're communicating with the asset manager. Lots of times they like to do it through Bid on Homes. And so you'll see like a lot of taskets get kicked back, and there will be highlighted notes in yellow. And one of the things that I've seen is they want more notes on the BPO. And then we're going to talk about the BPO on a couple of different sides here. One is on the notes, like they want extensive notes, like, why did you feel like these comps were the best fit, right? Look, this home was within a 10% variance of the square footage, right? It was within 0.2 miles. It was this, it was that. They want some specifics on why we chose these particular comps and what's going on in that neighborhood. This also aligns with pricing right now, because this market is softening across the country, and it's softening really fast. You guys are the experts, and you guys need to make sure that we give them the right data. Look, in the last 3 months, supplies of inventory have increased from 2 months supply to 6 months supply of inventory. X amount of homes that came on that are fully remodeled at a better price point. These are my suggestions on how we move forward. So more detail. We don't need your opinion. Stick to the data and the facts when we are on these BPOs and stuff here. So communication with the asset manager, pricing, and on the pricing and stuff as well, make sure, like when you set a price in your original one, right? If they don't accept that, unless something changes in the market, we should be after that price or on the monthly status reports and future BPOs. And what I mean by that is, let's say you had a BPO at 500 and they listed it at 600. Again, beyond our control. On every weekly status report, on every MMR, we are following up with that and saying, look, you know, the suggested list price was 500,000. The feedback is that this property is overpriced. We've got 0 showings on this property, and the market is telling me that it's overpriced, and the suggested list price was this, right? I'm reiterating that over and over again until they get me that. And here's the thing, by the time they get there, that price may have moved. So just don't take that, right? This is where we're constantly evaluating on those MMRs and those BPOs. Like, look, our original one might have been 500 and now it might be 445. It might be 450, right? And so make sure that we really know what is going on with that side of things. Almost everybody on this call has a ton of experience in REOs. There are some of us that are getting into it, and you guys are assigned mentors. If you guys are a mentor, if you guys have a mentor, it is imperative that that mentor is putting their stamp of approval on everything. They're looking over your task. They're making sure the notes, like that is why you're getting this opportunity. We don't want anybody to lose that opportunity. And that's where we have that one chance to make the first impression. That is why somebody has a mentor, right? Because they're looking over everything and working that property and stuff with you. And so if you've been assigned a mentor, or if you are a mentor, guys, like this is where we're using those first 3 to 5 deals. That is your education experience. I don't care about the commission. I don't care if you're splitting it at that point in time. You need a mentor, otherwise you wouldn't have got that opportunity, and it has to be perfect. There is too much pressure. These clients could go to any other asset management company, and those asset management companies would pick them up like this. The better we do, the more opportunities that we get. The better we make American Destiny and MCM Capital and Templeview and BSI and PIMCO look, the more opportunities that we get. So that is the stress on this. And again, we're talking 99% of people like crush it. We want to continue to always improve and get better every single day by learning from each other here. And the last thing that I had on my list from things that I see as I've mentored, quite a few people across the country here, is the fact that we need to be proactive. We know the cycle, right, that's coming. And so anybody like in the chat box or unmute your mic, this is just one example. When should we order pictures for our property? So most of our clients require professional photos and stuff like that. When should we order those pictures? Brian?
The property is ready for a photo.
Right. Guys, if you wait for the listing to assignment to be, it's too late. Unless your photographer has nothing to do that day, they are not going to be able to get out there, take the pictures, and get everything that you need. So most of the time that is after the BPO is done. If there's repairs or something like that, it might be a little bit later. So like Brian's answer was spot on. As soon as that property is ready, that's going to allow you, and these are the things that we can learn from each other, because Brian and I have learned that lesson, right? On a property that we were co-listing together, right? Like we were all set, we were ready to go. And this was a year or so ago. And it was like, list the property. And we, excuse my language, we were like, oh shit, we don't have pictures. And then they were like, well, it's going to take us 48 hours to get out there. And we're like, we don't have 48 hours, right? So this is where we learn from each other on this side of things. And we know what that tasking is going to look like. So we've got to be proactive on that. We know that we're going to have weekly inspections, right? We know that we're going to have this. Plan your schedule accordingly. And this is what's going to separate you from the herd. And when you take all of these notes from some of the top agents in the country right now, like that is what's going to help you elevate your game and get it better and stuff as well. Anybody else that's mentoring people, that's seeing, that is doing these, anything that, we may have overlooked or just not thought about and stuff here that you want to share with us?
Larry?
Yes, sir.
I had a listing last year and it was assigned to me, and I was proactive. I got the pictures completed, and then the listing was it was pulled back. So I was out that money for the photographer. I was right on top of it. So I typically wait until they say, okay, go ahead and get the pictures. And I'm pushed right up against a deadline. Sometimes I have to get, an extension, but I just, having had that experience, I was out like $500 and nothing I could do with it, do about it. Even though I was right on it, trying to do the right thing for the asset manager and the listing. Anyways, just wanted to, that's my experience. And it was pulled back. I don't know why. And ADR didn't even have the listing. It was probably sold in the package. I don't know, but.
Okay. So I can tell you that from what I've seen is the exception and not the rule. The times that I've seen that done, because we had an agent that actually had about 12 assignments in a week-long period, went out, got professional photography and stuff on all of them, and the client decided not to list. Like Darren actually called that client or that agent specifically and was like, man, I'm so sorry. I will make it up to you. And he did. Like, he gave him like 18 listings over the next couple of months. So that's where, the asset manager is probably not the right person. Like, we don't need to bitch and complain and stuff like that. But that's where you need to bring that to Eric and myself, and we'll figure out a way to make it right. If for some reason we're going to be late, and again, I hate anything being late. And so I try to manage to the rule and not to the exception. But then we got to be communicating with the asset manager. Hey, this is when the pictures are scheduled for. I'll have it done as soon as this, right? Like, this is where we have to be able to communicate, because if you guys don't communicate and you have these red tasks, they're literally just going to think that you didn't do it, right? That you've been sitting over there on your thumbs and stuff like that at the end of it. So I appreciate that feedback and stuff. And again, there's going to be one-off situations and stuff like that. And I can't tell you guys how to run your business. I'm trying to tell you guys how to elevate your business and stuff here, because it's going to be imperative that you guys have a lot better systems as volume continues to increase at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for jumping in, Larry. I'm actually gonna end the call here in just a minute or two, and I'd love to have questions, but I really feel like we don't have time for that. But if you have a question or something you wanted to bring something up, I'm available all day today. You can text me, you can call me, you can email me. We're definitely wanting to hear your comments and concerns. I don't want to get into a lot of back and forth though with processes. The big thing, the big takeaway from today is what Larry said about the BPOs, but the real big takeaway is tasking. If you get a task and your task goes from green to red in our system, that's a red flag to the asset managers, and that's what usually gets elevated to me. And if it's like more than a couple days or 5 days or even 30 days, this is when I get the phone calls. So just be sure that you're checking your bid on homes. I know bid on homes is clunky. We've had multiple discussions about that. I do have a support number, so if you guys want to reach out to support, you can email me. I'll send you the bid on home support. I don't have that to throw in the chat right now, but they do have support, and they're usually pretty responsive. They get back to me pretty quick. But again, a lot of what we went over today is the preaching to the choir part. You guys do a phenomenal job. You guys are our go-to. You're on our preferred list for a reason, because you decided to partner with us with a brokerage, and you decided to partner with us to do the REO work. So we really thank you for that. And we're here for you. And we're doing these monthly calls not to be, we'll point out like maybe some things that went on, but we'll also point out best practices, because as time goes on and things move into the future, new clients are going to require different types of handling, and the new clients are going to want things done a certain way. This is why they're on the call with Tricon, because Tricon has particular ways they want things done, and we have to mold to them. It's not like we bring on a client and it's like, well, here's the process. This is the way we do it. It's the client that says, no, this is the way we want it done. How can you make it work for us? And that's why we spend a lot of time, communicating with them about processes. But this call was recorded. I will put it on the YouTube. I will have it in the newsletter. We hit 100 agents, so a few people might not have been able to jump on the call. So I will talk to Darren about bumping up our Zoom subscription to allow for more agents, because a lot of agents, heard about this late or didn't hear about it. But here's the other thing I want to point out to you guys: read the newsletter. We've been doing it for 2 years now, almost actually 3 years now. We're very consistent with it. It's only to our group, so everybody in the world doesn't get our newsletter. Just people that are in Larry's downline and below get the newsletter. So if you do happen to get the newsletter, you're not. I mean, we're not going to say don't come on these calls, but just realize you're on the newsletter distribution list because you're a preferred agent, or you're part of the Control Bengal group, or in Larry's organization. So I really appreciate you coming on today. I have a call at noon, so there's a hard stop. This was recorded. I'll have it in the newsletter. Hope you guys have a great day, and look forward to seeing you next week for the Control Bengal call. So we'll see you later.
Bye.